Holy doodle squat. What's up, everybody? This is Fred Richani and Scott Anderson of TSC News. It is November 20th, 2016. We are here live on YouTube to recap WWE Survivor Series 2016, the return of Goldberg after 12 and a half years away from a WWE ring. And I am pumped. I have goosebumps. I'm so excited now. I realize that my feeling may be different from your feeling. And I realize that the main event we just witnessed between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg may be incredibly polarizing. But let me just tell you a little story real quick before we start this recap. You see, there were two men that got me into wrestling as a little kid. Okay, and it sounds cliche, but it is legit. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Royal Rumble 1998, and a big, bald, badass mother trucker by the name of Bill Goldberg. So yes, as a grown man, as a 27-year-old adult, yes, I should be objective. I should talk about how they built up Brock Lesnar for all these years. He broke the streak. He destroyed everybody. I should be pissed off right now, but I am not. I am ecstatic. I am happy. I got goosebumps because in just 2 short minutes, Goldberg in 2016 speared Brock Lesnar out of his boots. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Hit the freaking jackhammer, and then he covered Brock. 1, 2, 3, and the Toronto crowd, as well as all my friends who are blowing up my damn phone right now, lost their mother freaking minds, because in 2016 we got 1998 Goldberg. Holy doodle squat.
It was 1:25 to be technical.
Well, hello, Scott.
Holy cow.
Should I read some of these texts? Okay, Michael Iliano. I am blown away.
You can't read mine, but yeah.
I am blown away that they did that. My other friend Mike, wow, Goldberg. My other friend, pardon my French, holy shit. And I don't curse on the show, but this is one of those times where you have to say, I mean, my God, this is nuts. I don't know why they did this. I'm assuming they're building up to a match down the road. On one hand, the fan in me loves this. Okay, I love Goldberg. I'm sorry. I've said it before. It's like Sting. Yeah. I'm an unapologetic WCW fan. Okay, I love WCW back in the day. It still breaks my heart to know that WCW is no longer with us. But, man, I'm so happy. On the other hand, they spent 2 years building up Brock Lesnar. 2 years. They had him break the Undertaker streak. They had him kill John Cena. They had him destroy Dean Ambrose.
They did have Cena go over at least, though.
In 2012. It was 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. It's a lifetime.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
He's beat up everybody. He's destroyed everybody, and it just so on the other hand, I'm kind of like, what the hell? This is stupid. But then on the third hand, and yes, this is my show, so I'm going to say on one hand, on the other hand, and on the third hand, because it's my show, and on the third hand, on Mae Young's hand, because I can do whatever the hell I want here, on the third hand, Mae Young's hand, I'm kind of happy about this as well. You know why? You want to know why, Scott? I got nothing personal.
Why, but we have to keep it clean.
I got nothing personal against Brock Lesnar. Okay? I like watching Brock Lesnar fight. I like watching Brock Lesnar wrestle. Okay? But for the love of God, when is the last time Brock Lesnar has made a significant difference in the ratings?
To be fair, when is anybody except for Undertaker?
Okay, I know. I'm not blaming.
But I know what you're saying.
I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming him, and I'm not talking about UFC 200, which he did a great job of promoting.
They don't hype him enough. That's the thing. They'll tell you on Thursday that he's coming to Raw Monday,
listen,
and
Scott,
people don't care.
Scott, I did not ask for a sermon, okay? I'm just asking, okay? I'm just asking here, okay?
No,
so answer my question. When is the last time Brock Lesnar has made a dent in the ratings? Tell me.
I would say the night after WrestleMania 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
When is the last time Brock Lesnar has made a dent, a significant dent? And I ain't talking about Harvey Dent, but a dent fiscally, positively in ticket sales.
Maybe for live events, but that's about it.
Well, that's the point, live events. But
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But he hasn't moved the needle significantly.
No, I don't see any difference.
It's not a huge difference. He's done a bunch of shows with Randy Orton and Rusev and Luke Harper, and I don't think he's blown away the gate, right?
No, but I'm sure it helps by a couple people. You know what I mean?
Yes, and again, this is nothing against Brock Lesnar as the person, and I'm a huge fan of him as a competitor, okay? But on top of all this, okay, he hasn't done great with ratings lately. He hasn't done great with ticket sales. He hasn't done great with merch. At least I don't think he's done great with merch. So what happens? What happens? On top of all that, on top of him squashing everybody, okay, he fails a USADA test. Embarrasses himself, embarrasses UFC, and on top of that embarrasses WWE. Causing a bunch of people to just get suspended magically overnight. And look, I'm not condoning PD use whatsoever. However, when you are in a physical business like professional wrestling, and you're on the road, God knows how many days a year, and you feel the need to take something to make yourself feel better, I'm not condoning it, but I understand. I understand. Believe me, I get it. It's a rough business, especially with all the injuries we've had in recent years, and the physical matches, such as the physical matches we had tonight. So here's Brock Lesnar, fails a drug test, ruins it for everybody, embarrasses the company, and then what happens? He comes in August, destroys Randy Orton, beats him clean. No punishment whatsoever from WWE for freaking failing a drug test. And on top of that, he concusses Randy Orton, which, look, I know he wasn't trying to concuss him. I get it. He was not trying to concuss him. However, he did. And he kept being rewarded. And rewarded, and rewarded, and rewarded. So to see him get squashed tonight, nothing against him. I realize he's still getting paid millions of dollars. He's probably farting millions of dollars right now. He's probably wiping his ass with some as well. Okay? At the end of the day, it was just nice. It was a nice karmic feeling to see Brock Lesnar, after failing a USADA test and for not making much of a positive difference in WWE lately, to get squashed in 2 minutes.
This brings up a lot of questions. A lot of questions.
All right. Well, Scott, ask those questions.
Well, I will.
I need
First
some water.
and foremost, is this like WrestleMania 20 where Brock Lesnar goes bye-bye now and he's done? Maybe something happened where this was it. We don't know. Second question, there is no way after what we just saw tonight on both ends, and we'll get to the one part that we see Shane McMahon and Brock Lesnar, because it just doesn't make sense at this point. Third, does this now set up possibly Goldberg and Undertaker at WrestleMania instead of John Cena Undertaker? Because let's be honest, Goldberg didn't do nothing to get himself injured tonight, and maybe that's the way WWE wanted to keep it. So
reportedly
something's going on.
Reportedly he strained his shoulder on Monday, which is why they had to keep the match short. But then again, how strained can your shoulder be if you get Brock Lesnar up for a freaking jackhammer?
And you hit 2 spears, and he had a couple knee operations.
Was it 2? I thought it was 3 spears. Was it 2?
I might have missed the first one. I know it started out where Lesnar – I mean, the match goes basically Lesnar picks him up, throws him into the corner. I thought Goldberg just kind of shoved him back, hit a spear, jackhammered him, pinned him. I mean, unless I missed something.
That was it, man. That
was it. Something's – like, I know we talked about this in August with Randy Orton. Like, that just didn't seem legit. Something just doesn't seem right. I mean, it's great. It's amazing. It really is. The sad part about it, though, when you think about it, and I know, and if I forget who tweeted this, and if it's one of our listeners, I apologize for not mentioning your name, but somebody tweeted that, Vince McMahon couldn't have Sting go over Triple H, but he puts Goldberg over Lesnar.
Yeah.
Go figure that one out.
I'm still a little bitter about that one, but this kind of makes up for it. For all the burials.
Amazing. For
all the burials of WCW the last 15 years, as a longtime WCW fan, I know you were a huge WCW fan. Your current Twitter picture is an old picture with Goldberg. I mean, this is awesome.
Just to show how outdated that photo is of me with Goldberg, it was at a Tower Record store. How about that?
Oh, my God. Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I've met Goldberg a couple of times, actually. Yeah. No,
and by the way, let me correct myself. Thank you, Stephen Shaw, for pointing this out, even though he stole my Holy Doodle Squat hashtag without proper credit on Twitter. He states that the first time Lesnar was knocked down by Goldberg, it was a shove. So my bad. It was a shove
but
and
he
two
did
spears.
hit 2 spears.
Yes, it was a shove and 2 spears. I said 3 spears. My mistake.
Yes. Okay.
You know what? That shove might as well have been a spear. It was freaking awesome. Everything Goldberg did was awesome. The freaking entrance. You know what I was actually worried about? Because my dad was chatting with me too. Because he was, my dad and I grew up watching Goldberg. I mean, my dad loved Goldberg, and that's how I became a fan, just watching with my dad as a kid in Fribboro, New Jersey. And my dad texted me. He goes, "Goldberg's really wet," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And I was kind of afraid that
the sparklers.
I was kind of afraid that maybe like Brock would try to suplex him or do something, Goldberg would slip or whatever. Because I mean, I know guys are wet and they oil themselves up to make their physiques look good, but he looked really wet, like Bo Dallas wet.
There's a tweet here, and I have to interrupt you because this I don't want to go here, but I definitely disagree with you on this, Jeremy Bowers. He retweeted a tweet that somebody put that says basically no one on the roster is good enough to beat Lesnar, but an old ass man that hasn't wrestled in a long time is.
Well, guess what? That old ass man drew more money in one day than 90% of the roster, which I'm not blaming the roster, okay? I'm not blaming them. But at the end of the day, bitness is bitness.
And Jeremy, it's not sad because let me tell and I love you, dude. But if it was Roman Reigns who beat Lesnar like that, everybody would have been complaining. If it was, John Cena when he did it, everybody was complaining. If it was Ambrose, everybody would have complained.
Or Rollins or any of these guys. I mean, really,
this worked because of the magnitude of it, and I don't think people realize the magnitude Goldberg. Goldberg was there for such a short period of time, and pretty much a crappy part of WCW that people just. You got to remember it was almost 20 years ago he debuted.
Yeah.
And
what wasn't a crappy time in WCW like at the beginning? It was a hot period.
You're right.
But the second half,
went downhill.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like they put the title on him. That should have been like a glorious run for the company, and instead, because of BS politics from idiot Hulk Hogan, you somehow got $31 million despite being a racist prick. He just kind of got buried. It was weird. He was world champ. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like how the world champions are used in today's WWE. It's like they're undermined by a guy that's not there all the time. Hulk Hogan was there every now and then, but Goldberg was the guy that was on every show, and yet Goldberg was undermined. Kevin Owens, he's the Universal Champion. Yet, what's the cloud hanging over Kevin Owens' head? Triple H. Nobody's talking about it. Kevin Owens.
And Jericho now.
Yeah. Nobody's talking about Kevin Owens, the Universal Champion, which was unfathomable years ago. But they're talking about Triple H.
This made up for a lot of things. I just can't wait to see what happens with Lesnar going forward.
I feel like Goldberg now. I'm sweating. I'm so pumped up, man.
It's yeah. I mean, we could just keep going. Yeah for like the next hour, and it was great. Like. To understand what this meant, I don't know what it means for Lesnar. Look, I give Lesnar major props for taking that loss like that.
For being a professional, yeah.
Because I'll be honest, I don't know.
You know what though? I mean, listen. Say what you want about Brock Lesnar. He doesn't love the business. He can
sell it too,
at the end of the day, okay, the dude does business. Okay, yeah. He does business, and he does good business, and he knows what he's doing. And people got on him for. Allegedly being lazy with Dean Ambrose and all this other stuff. But you got to look at it this way. All right?
Protecting himself.
Okay. So. Yeah, he was protecting himself because he knew he was getting paid at UC 200. Okay. Who could blame him? Although he may have to pay some of that back to Nevada. And on top of that, okay, I like Dean Ambrose a lot. I really do. But the last 6 months of Dean Ambrose have not been very good in the ring.
No, sir.
So. If I had a crystal ball and I was able to see the next 6 months of Dean Ambrose after his WrestleMania match with Brock Lesnar, if I were Brock Lesnar, I would have been like, F that, man. I ain't taking that. Sorry, I'm beating you and that's it.
Yeah.
I can't blame him.
No. Dude, this was amazing. I mean, I just, yeah. I don't know what
I guess, what? I guess what they're going to do is they're going to have... Here's what I think is going to happen. Assuming Goldberg came out of it relatively unscathed for a 40-something-year-old man, a guy in his late 40s.
To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, but unscathed enough, right? Here's what I see happening. I see them hyping up Goldberg for the Royal Rumble. I see Goldberg
in San Antonio
being in the Royal Rumble. I see Goldberg getting eliminated in the Royal Rumble by Brock Lesnar, leading to Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. And this time around, it's going to be a crazy match, and it's going to be a crazy build. You know why? Because Brock Lesnar is down 0-2. And Brock Lesnar, for the first time in his career, at least in WWE, has his back against the wall. And it's gonna make, and in storyline, it's going to make him more motivated, more angrier than ever to finally vanquish Goldberg. They did the comeback. They gave us the legit traditional Goldberg squash match against, out of all people, Brock Lesnar. Whoa, what the? Whoa, that was my phone that did that and turned on my YouTube video, so my bad. But, man, I don't know. I could see them doing the trilogy where Brock Lesnar gets so desperate, gets so angry, he finally beats Goldberg. Kind of like a rich man's version of the Eddie Guerrero-Rey Mysterio feud in 2005, where Eddie just could not beat Rey, and then finally he just beats Rey.
The problem is, though, would anybody care at this point? Because Goldberg's already beat him twice. So what would it accomplish? And I know what you just said with the Eddie and Rey thing, but that was different.
Yeah, and that also involved like a paternity test and a lot of random SmackDown drama back in the day, and you don't want to do it. Oh my God! I mean, I know there's other matches to get to, but all right. If they don't do Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, if there is something deeper,
it has to be Goldberg Undertaker at this point, I would think.
No, I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, it makes sense. Don't get me wrong.
Sure, it does at this point.
I know, but come on, are you confident that Undertaker and Goldberg at their age can have a good match, especially when both are baby faces?
No, but I tell you what, it'd be interesting.
I think they're just going to do a rematch. I think you're reading too much into it. I think they're going to do a rematch.
The way that ended, I'm not sure if we're seeing Lesnar. I'm telling you right now, it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see Lesnar for a long, long time. Well, I don't get it.
I get it.
There's no way this could have been the plan the whole time. There's just no way.
Maybe not the plan that Goldberg was going to win in 2 minutes, but maybe the plan that Goldberg was going to win.
I don't know. It's very strange.
Listen, dude, here's my prediction, and here's what's going to happen. You can lock it up here, all right? It's going to be Goldberg, Royal Rumble. He's going to be the main draw. He's going to get eliminated by Brock Lesnar. They're going to brawl. They're going to have a contract signing at the February pay-per-view for WrestleMania, and then it's going to be WrestleMania, and Goldberg is finally going to fall to the beast Brock Lesnar. And then after that, I have no idea what the hell you do with Brock Lesnar, but that's what you're going to do. And it's going to be huge.
What if...
And on top of that, you're gonna have Undertaker versus John Cena for the title, which is gonna be awesome. And you're gonna have, I don't know, maybe Seth Rollins versus Triple H.
Hold on here. Let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
Now, a couple months ago, and I made a tweet earlier about this, what I thought was going to happen. I told you to retweet it because I wanted proof. What if that's reversed? What I said? What if? Because Goldberg destroying Lesnar. Hold on. Goldberg
tell people what you
Lesnar.
retweeted. Tell people what you retweeted.
My tweet earlier was that Lesnar goes to the Rumble, beats Owens for the title. Goldberg wins the Rumble match, and they have a match at WrestleMania, which would have set up perfectly for the third match.
Right.
All right. There was something going out earlier about Paul Heyman saying something about, the scenario for Lesnar at WrestleMania would be the Universal title. So there's some seeds possibly planted. Maybe it's just Heyman being Heyman. Who's to say now Goldberg technically kind of sort of wouldn't be a number one contender going into Royal Rumble? Beats Kevin Owens, have Lesnar win the Rumble, being that it is in the Alamo Dome, and you do need to sell seats. And we did talk about, Lesnar not moving the needle, but let's be honest, if you put him in that match, he very well could a little bit. And then you have that match set up there at WrestleMania, and Goldberg loses to Lesnar. Lesnar's the Universal Champ, and they can just kind of do what they did a couple years ago with him.
But then the question is, who the hell beats Lesnar after that? And actually, you could ask the same question if they just do without the title. Who the hell beats Lesnar after all this Goldberg nonsense?
It would be Roman Reigns at that point again.
Oh my God!
They would go back to it. They would have to.
Because Roman Reigns got such a great reaction tonight.
Or I mean, I guess to a degree, you're talking maybe a year down the road, a year and a half down the road. I mean, maybe you groom Strowman a little bit better. Dude. I mean, he looked like he was getting a little bit better tonight. I know. You know what? But
maybe I've turned back the clock.
Maybe Samoa Joe.
Maybe I've turned. We could talk about Samoa Joe. I didn't think Samoa Joe looked that great in his match at NXT, and the guy is almost 40 years old now. I think the reality is kind of setting in with Samoa Joe that he's a great worker, but he's definitely not the same guy he used to be. So I don't know if you want to put that kind of
Nobody's the same guy they used to be. I mean, Undertaker's like, I'm back. And
yeah, I know, but Undertaker has the cachet with the WWE fans.
That is not a full-time schedule, by the way, for everybody who thinks it is. It's not.
Yeah, well, of course not. The guy's like 50-something, man.
Well, I'm saying you're not going to see him doing a lot. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. I do think, you know what, like a guy like Nakamura, barring injury, I think would be the guy to come in and.
But even he's almost 40.
Yeah, but mid-30s, and he's a smarter, and you know what? He's a smarter worker than a lot of guys, including Shane McMahon. Not to throw salt on the wound of Shane McMahon, because obviously he suffered a major injury tonight. For those that don't know, he was going for a flying missile drop kick into the corner, kind of like a Van Terminator, although without like the chair or garbage can that he normally uses. He went for like a huge flying drop kick to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns got out of the corner, speared him. Shane took a nasty spill. 1, 2, and then Shane got his shoulder up.
I think he just kind of rolled, yeah. But
and for
Roman
a second,
didn't do a great job either.
And for a second, I thought that Shane was supposed to kick out, because before that I was laughing my ass off, because they had a deal where Seth and Roman were the sole survivor. Well, not the sole survivors, but the last remaining survivors on Team Raw, right? And Shane McMahon was clotheslining Roman, clotheslining Seth, took Seth's leg, did the old like Melina spot with Beth Phoenix.
That was a great spot.
And took, I know, but Shane McMahon doing this,
I know,
and taking Seth's head and banging it against Seth's own knee. Shane McMahon.
Well, I don't know if you caught the spot when Shane rolled up Jericho earlier in the match, and Jericho called it, and it took about 30 seconds to happen. So,
yeah.
Just keep that in mind.
But Shane McMahon, my God. And keep in mind, prior to the spot.
When that happened to Shane, Randy Orton did go over to Shane's kids and kind of say everything's cool. So
okay, that was nice
let's keep that in mind. But
yeah. So
we're getting ahead of ourselves with matches, but
yeah, okay.
At this point, it's okay.
Yeah, so let's just go to the Shane spot. So Shane goes for this Van Terminator drop kick, gets speared. It was a sloppy spear, but Roman did the best he could.
Did the best he could with a guy who's not
an
athlete, full-time guy, and
not an athlete,
and let's
not
be
a
honest,
pro wrestler.
Considering that angle and those moves, I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean,
no, not at all. I thought it looked good. I mean, it looked good for what it was. I mean, listen, it's a time spot. You got to hit it right. I mean, they did the best they could, but. Yeah, so Roman pins him. Shane gets a shoulder up, and I'm thinking, Jesus Christmas. Do they seriously have Shane McMahon kick out of the freaking spear, but AJ Styles couldn't? And then the referee paused, called the doctors, and I was like, oh, God. And you know what this reminded me of, dude? Luke Kuechly.
Yeah, but the weird part is he didn't throw up the X signal. That was kind of strange.
That was strange, but I
get it at that point. But then they eliminate Shane, even though he never got pinned, and they could have
the crowd. But you know what though, the crowd knew that this dude was messed up.
Oh, absolutely.
The crowd knew. They were respectful. There
was a few botches, but
they were respectful. Like they knew, like that this wasn't part of the show. I mean, this.
Well, see, for me, that not even Luke Kuechly, because that was just very odd. His emotions like that.
Yeah.
See, as a Jets fan, I remember when Wayne Corbett took his 20th concussion, which was the last one. It had that same look. Like his eyes were just out. Like you could just see
I was surprised they didn't stretch him out though. They're just carrying him, and I'm like, if the guy has a concussion, shouldn't you be stretching him out?
Maybe it wasn't a concussion. Maybe it was more of a whiplash or.
But still, you don't think the guy hit his head hard?
That's even worse, I guess.
Yeah, you don't think the guy hit his head hard? Don't be carrying him out. He's the boss's son. Jesus, put him on a freaking stretcher. Just secure him. I mean. Maybe they didn't want to panic his kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
but still, I mean, I don't know.
It looked like he was alert, just kind of not with it. So
I hope Shane. Listen, I hope Shane's okay. Yeah. God bless the guy. He seems like a really cool, nice guy in real life. But for the love of God, stay out of the freaking ring.
Stop it, dude.
Stay out of the ring.
Proves enough's enough.
Just because he got to jump off the cell and live to tell about it, all right, doesn't mean that he's going to get lucky every time, okay? And in reality, just because he was able to walk the next day, that very night from that spot, you got to remember, he's still a 47-year-old man who's not properly trained to wrestle, okay? Well, and when you're wrestling once every 10 years, however long it took him to wrestle before Hell in a Cell, and then wrestle 6 months later. I mean, come on, man. At age 47, going on 48, I mean, what do you think? What is Vince McMahon thinking? And then for Vince McMahon to tease his son against Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, that's not happening.
Oh my! I mean, thank God. If there's one silver lining, knock on wood, Shane's okay. And as long as Shane's okay, if there is one silver lining from this horrible bump that he took, okay, it is that he will probably never wrestle again, and especially not against Brock Lesnar.
Silver lining, but
yeah,
not against Brock Lesnar.
Oh my God,
that could be
Just just because he fell off the cell and lived to tell about it doesn't mean he left unscathed. It's like when people say, "Oh, the guy didn't get injured. He was okay." Kevin Owens was walking the next day after that exploder suplex on the floor. That's great, but guess what? Your body still absorbs that. That's a lot of wear and tear. Luke Harper, when he tore his ACL, he tore it just with a normal spot, just punching a guy in the corner, moved a little bit, and his ACL just tore off.
Yeah, no, a little different.
Maybe it wasn't because it just randomly tore off. Maybe because of all the abuse, all the bumps, all the nicks, all the bruises. And that guy's a trained professional. Just put 2 and 2 together, people. I hope Shane's okay, but stay out of the damn ring, dude. That was just all right. Yeah. So we should probably go back and just start this.
Well, we had a 2-hour pre-show started at 5:00 Eastern time, and I don't know about you, Fred. I know you're a busy man. Me, I'm not that busy of a man, even though I'm married with a 6-year-old. I did have it on my laptop. Thank God.
I had it in the background when I was doing work because Fred worked.
Background noise.
Yeah, I had it in the background because Fred works weekends, and it's been a busy weekend. And I'm going to DC on a Tuesday night, so I got.
Fred needs a vacation.
Yeah, I'm cutting it close, man. You know me. It's been a crazy schedule, and I know your schedule's a little crazy too. So I just figured, you know what, put WWE Network on in the background. Let me do what I got to do for work, and it was just such a waste of time. And look,
the first hour.
Look, I'm not trying to say that Scott and I are better promos on air people than Booker T or Lita or Jerry the King Lawler. But in regards to that setting and the current WWE storylines, these guys had literally nothing to say. They were just regurgitating same lines over and over, stumbling on their lines, all this other stuff. And far be it from me to constructively criticize these legends, but it was awkward. It was like the Antichrist of Inside the NBA for anybody that gets that show in the States and North America. Like, like that's a great show. Like they have great chemistry, or like Top Gear, you know what I mean, or whatever the hell the new show is that with the Top Gear guys, like they have great chemistry. Okay, it's a fun show, and in this pre-show, it's just like it's anti-chemistry, it's negative chemistry.
Well, not even that, but for the first 45 minutes to an hour, it was an empty arena, which just made it strange. Which
is why I think they held off putting those pre-show matches first, because it took forever for the fans to get in. But who can blame them?
Weren't bad matches, all things considered.
Who could blame these fans, though? You don't want to get in the friggin' arena at 5 o'clock and
that's too much.
Sit on your ass for 7 hours.
Before we start recapping, let's give WWE some credit, though, because 2 things happened the night. Well, 3 things, really, not counting Lesnar. But we had a 4-hour pay-per-view that A, did not run over, which is what they've been doing now.
Yeah.
And B, ended a half hour sooner, which doesn't happen now either.
Yeah.
So let's give them credit for this one.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
Those pre-shows they tried to fill it with a very long Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho segment. They tried to do some things. It just didn't work.
Yeah, and by the way, we're
better off recapping NXT.
By the way, we're getting some Top Gear. Hey, I don't know if it's like based on like the old Top Gear or the new Top Gear. I'll say this: if Brock Lesnar and Goldberg are the old Top Gear, then Roman Reigns is the new Top Gear. I'll leave it at that. He's Matt LeBlanc.
Yes.
I'll leave it at that for anybody that understands that reference. So let's start with the pre-show, I guess. We had T.J. Perkins, Rich Swann, and Noam Dar defeat Tony Nese, Drew Gulak, and Arya Daivari in a 6-man tag. Pretty decent match. I liked it.
Again, nothing we haven't seen before on Raw for the last 5 weeks. Just interchange Cedric Alexander with T.J. Perkins, Drew Gulak, Tony Nese. It's all been pretty much the same. Moves a little bit better match, a little bit more time, I guess, on a pay-per-view level, which made it a little bit better. But nothing we haven't seen before, although Rich Swann might have concussed. Who did he get the pin on? Was it Nice or Gulak?
One of those guys, yeah.
Because when he hit the standing 450, his feet kicked him in the face and his knees hit him in the face as well. So
yeah, that was.
And they showed that on
rough.
the replay, which wasn't a good job on WWE for doing that either. But,
that was a little rough. And by the way, 205 Live, which is the all cruiserweight show, which actually take place live right after SmackDown and during the SmackDown tapings.
So that is going to be live.
Yeah.
And it's going to be in the same arena they do SmackDown.
Yes, which is mind-boggling to me, because why wouldn't you do it before SmackDown when you still have people in the arena? Because dude, ain't nobody stay. Look, I like Drew Gulak a lot, okay, and I like all these guys a lot, okay, but ain't nobody staying after SmackDown for Drew Gulak and Tony Nese and all these guys when they saw the quote-unquote real stars already.
Well, here's the thing, though. You're going to get to the arena an hour and a half early to see that as well?
Well, you'd put it in place of main event or whatever the hell they normally film, you know?
Which, same idea, though. But, well, God, that means you got 4 hours of a SmackDown tape. Wow.
Actually, yeah,
I didn't
that's
even
true.
think about that. Wow.
Yeah. Well, it debuts November 29th. We'll see what happens there. Maybe it'll be good. I think it'll be good. Why aren't they filming that at just Full Sail on a tape show? Because it's, I mean... But it has to be live, Scott. It's like SmackDown Live. It has to be live.
We'll get to the results of the Cruiserweight match as well. We'll get to that, and we'll discuss this as well. So...
Yeah. So anyway, they had a pretty good match, but nothing we haven't seen before, unfortunately. Although TJP got a really good reaction. He did get a really good reaction. What are you laughing at, Scott?
A friend of mine who I always text with, wrestling fan as well. I had texted him after the Goldberg match. I said, "Holy bleep!" Well, he was a half hour behind because he was watching his Eagles lose. So he was on the SmackDown 5-on-5. So I said, text me after you get to the Lesnar match. And he just said, "Are you effing serious?" So.
Yeah.
So
we had Kane beat Luke Harper. This was okay, but the wrong guy won.
The funny part is Kane's been feuding with the Wyatts for over a year now because he had that match last year.
Yeah. He's Kane, all right, I think he needs to decide if he wants to be a politician or a wrestling character at this point. I mean,
he did say as long as he's competing at what do you say, a full-time level or something, that he'll still do it. So
yeah,
I mean, he can still go. Guys like Luke Harper might not be the best guys for him to work with, but he can still go.
I know, but wasn't he going to run for mayor in of Knoxville or something?
Yeah, something like that. I've tweeted you that insurance picture before. So,
yeah, well, you know what? He's on LinkedIn. I found him on LinkedIn as Glenn Jacobs. It was hilarious.
I want to go down to Tennessee and get me some insurance from him.
Yeah.
So I have to do it. I just want that certificate that says Glenn Jacobs.
Insurance. Yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah, you get that fire insurance, right?
Go there with like a toothbrush in my mouth. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, that was a dated reference. So we had Sami Zayn take on The Miz. This was a pretty good match, but it had a wacky screw job finish.
Hold on, Fred. Hold on.
What?
Before we get to that, the first match of the night was the women's elimination match.
That's right.
Which we skipped over for obvious reasons. But we did have that first. It was Team Raw versus Team SmackDown women.
I didn't hate that match completely.
It wasn't bad. There was some odd things.
It was just it was okay. It wasn't,
But the match started with Team Raw coming out. And then Team SmackDown came out, and when it was time for Captain Nikki Bella to come out, she wasn't there. Yeah. Everybody looks at Carmella. Carmella says, "No, I had nothing to do with it." You see the cameraman running to the back, and Nikki Bella is sitting back against the wall, holding her neck, saying, "It hurts, it hurts." Daniel runs over to her, checks on her. For some odd reason, Natalya wasn't already out there with the team, comes out and is acting like, hey, I can take her spot. I know I'm just a coach, but I'll take her spot. And, well, out came Natalya to substitute for Nikki Bella. Another very odd way to start the show.
And what's odd, too, is that they teased that Natalya attacked Nikki, right?
Right.
But Natalya gets eliminated.
Like, in the middle of the match.
Yeah.
Although she did last longer than Sasha Banks.
What was the point of that?
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, it was just wacky. The eliminations were as follows, and Scott, you correct me if I got any of them wrong here, if I missed any. We had Alicia Fox beat Carmella. We had Alexa Bliss beat Fox.
Right after that, yeah.
We had Naomi take out Nia Jax with a crossbody on the outside. And
that's not... Yeah, okay,
and then Naomi got eliminated via countout. Crowd also was... Crowd was so behind Ty Dillinger. For those that don't know, Ty Dillinger is a character in NXT who's been kind of like a lifetime, minor league guy, and he's got a
pretty
gimmick.
Much the Barry Horowitz of NXT.
Yeah, very much so. And he's got a gimmick where he gives people like not 8, 7, 8s, 9s, and he calls himself the perfect 10. And every time he comes out, he does this, and the crowd goes 10, 10. So every time a ref went to count somebody out or count somebody in the corner, the crowd would chant 10. And I normally would get annoyed by this because this is a trend that's been going on in some wrestling shows where these idiot fans will count a different number than what the referee's doing to intentionally mess with the referee, and I want to slap every one of those fans. However, in this case, this was the Toronto crowd showing solidarity and support behind a guy that's been a lifetime minor leaguer in Ty Dillinger. So maybe, just maybe, Triple H will be able to convince Vince McMahon, and maybe, just maybe, they'll be able to find a scenario to call up Ty Dillinger. Because if you have time for geeks like Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel on Monday Night Raw, you sure as hell could make some time for a guy like Ty Dillinger, who is actually entertaining.
Well, let's keep in mind that Ty Dillinger also is from Canada, so it was a fellow countryman as well.
Actually, that is true. That is true.
But it was still great, yes.
Man. By the way, shout out to my homegirl, Roa Schmate, who says that Goldberg is awesome, although she did support her fellow Canadian Brock Lesnar. Although Brock's not a real Canadian. And actually, you can make the argument that Goldberg's a real Canadian because he married a Canadian.
Yeah.
His wife's from Saskatchewan, my aunt's home province. So,
and Goldberg was way more over than most people thought he would be, by the way.
Yeah, I think the Canada thing. I think people overvalued the Canada thing. You know, Brock
Lesnar's... That was
Lesnar's...
the WCW versus Bret Hart thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was 15 years ago. 16 years. No, but yeah, 16 years ago.
It was like 2000. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. So, hey, man.
And just so you know, my buddy is another one you can chalk up to being disappointed with that match. Yet another disappointing Lesnar match. Like, I don't know. And he's older than me, so I don't know. I thought it was great.
You know what? I'd be interested in seeing and asking the fans who paid money to go see that show if they liked it or not.
I think they liked it. It seemed like they liked it.
I think they did too.
You're not going to get all of them, but I think a lot of them liked it.
Yeah,
it was so different. Like
it was, and it was classic Goldberg. They literally gave you the nostalgia.
That's what made it great.
Yeah.
Although that was a little too much classic Goldberg, but yeah, I mean that's what made it great. Doug Dillinger needed to be there, and it would have been perfect. Oh yeah, and that's another reference from WCW.
Yes.
But anyway,
we had Nia Jax get eliminated, or I'm sorry, Naomi get eliminated.
Naomi got eliminated.
And then we had
she was knocked out cold, by the way, so she sold that great.
Yeah, Natalya pinned Sasha Banks with a schoolgirl. That was ridiculous. Just eliminate her out of nowhere. We had Charlotte beat Natalya, and then we had Becky Lynch actually tap out Nia Jax with the disarmer.
Now, keep in mind, though, Alexa Bliss and Becky were working as a team to try to take out Nia.
Still,
it wasn't just clean. But no, I know what you're saying.
You couldn't have done like the pile-on pin where they all pile on and pin her.
Well, they should have done what they did with Strowman, and they didn't do it.
Which is like the count-out finish.
The count-out pin, or what they did with Rusev a couple years back. Yeah, they didn't do it. The DQ, something. They should have done something, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, that was the waste of months of building her up. I mean,
and they made her look dominant too in the beginning of that match.
Listen, no shame in losing to Becky Lynch, but are they really going to do? If this was setting up Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax, that'd be great. But they're on different brands. Kind of weird, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So we had Charlotte pin Alexa Bliss, and then Bayley pinned Becky Lynch with a belly to Bayley, and then Charlotte just beat up Bayley, walked out with Dana, who's still one of the worst wrestlers in the world, and I know they're trying to build up this whole Charlotte pay-per-view streak. She's now 14-0. I'm sick of this. I like her character and all, but I'm sick of her winning all the time.
They're making her out to be a little bit too much, or too, I don't want to say too good, because she is good, but a little bit too much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. A little overhyped, I think, is what they're doing with her.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. My friend Roa said, and actually this is a question for you, Scott. She asks, because this is something I mentioned in the last NXT recap. She's asking, do you think Asuka is becoming too much like Charlotte, and they're both winning so much that it's hard to care about their matches, or it's hurting their opponents?
I guess think the way to ask. In Asuka's case, she's right with the interview she cut a little while back where nobody's on her level on NXT. They're just not. And that's no disrespect to those women. They're busting their butts down there to get better and better, and a few of them really are, but there's just nobody at that level right now. There's just not. In Charlotte's case, I think it's just for whatever reason. I mean, look, Charlotte's worked her butt off as well. She's gotten better. I don't think she's the best woman on that roster.
Right.
But I don't know. She has the namesake, and maybe that's what's keeping her going. Maybe it's just Vince has a thing for her. For whatever reason, he just likes her. He likes the fact that she's tall. She has a good look to her. So maybe that's what it is. Sasha Banks is tiny, doesn't have the look, and Charlotte has that look, and maybe that's just the way it is.
True. And Zach McGibbon, shout out to him. He's not only an awesome supporter of TSC News, but he's a guy that's a hell of a commentator as well on the independent scene in Canada and a radio host. So for all the people bitching and complaining about, Joey Styles got fired for no reason, and political correctness and blah, blah, blah. Listen, screw Joey Styles. Screw these idiot relics that suck at their jobs in 2016. I want to see guys like Zach on commentary. He does a great job. So, Zach, I want to shout you out first off and foremost. But the reason
I'll say this, though, about Joey Styles real quick. Truth be told, if this was 1996, he could have gotten away with that.
Absolutely. But whatever. He's a geek, and he wasn't good at his job at Evolve, so I don't really care.
Okay,
give guys like Zach a chance. And the reason I'm also shouting out Zach is because he texted me a great tidbit here, which is that Pro Wrestling Sheet is reporting that Goldberg is signed to appear at the Royal Rumble.
So my theory could actually happen.
Well,
unless he's in the Rumble. Either way, my theory could happen. You're not putting Goldberg in the Rumble to have him lose unless Lesnar takes him out.
He's signed to appear in the Rumble match. So,
yeah, there it is. There, I just see it. Yes,
that's interesting right there. That's very interesting. I think what's going to happen is Goldberg's going to clean house, Lesnar's going to come out, and Goldberg's going to be eliminated by Lesnar.
Because it's WWE, they'll have Roman Reigns just eliminate both of them.
Oh, God. Or you know what? Braun Strowman.
That would actually be better. It really would.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Undertaker's back full-time. Have those two going at it,
and have
Undertaker come out and just put all three of them in the ring together. Why not?
That'd be kind of cool. He's not full-time, but full-time by Undertaker standards.
Full-time for Undertaker, yeah. That's what I'm saying,
Yeah, more than one match a year, yeah.
Right.
True.
So, yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't care. I didn't care for this women's match. It was pretty decent, but just Charlotte destroying Bayley. It sets up the match, but I don't know. I'm just tired of the Charlotte reign. It would have been nice to see Sasha hold it for a few months. You could have had Charlotte win it as a transitional champion, lead to Charlotte versus Bayley versus Sasha at WrestleMania or something.
Another triple threat? Oh, God.
You know what? Would be a good match at least.
They did tease Becky Lynch with Bayley a little, and Becky Lynch with Sasha, which was cool.
Yeah.
And that's not going to lead to nothing, of course, but it was just cool to see. So.
Right.
But with any luck, they'll have a I lost my train of thought. Never mind.
They'll have like a four-way? Is what you're saying?
Well, I wasn't even going to say that.
Trade?
Unification match just to have all the women on one damn show.
Yeah. That would make more sense if you ask me. But
that would make so much more sense.
Yeah, but oh well.
Yeah.
We had the club, Gallows and Anderson, bully James Ellsworth. Mick Foley stepped in to stop him. James Ellsworth said that he's a huge fan of Mick Foley, and he loved it when Mick Foley got thrown off the cell and got speared into the flaming table by Edge. And then Foley's like, "Do you have any good memories of me?" And he goes, "Well, when you won the title from The Rock." And he goes, "Good." And then afterwards, Mick Foley offered him a Raw contract. He said, I'm Team Blue. Foley walked away.
Even though he got a start on Raw.
Yeah, and then Foley walked away, and he ran into Braun Strowman. But that was not the first Ellsworth Strowman reunion of the night.
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
You're right.
We had the Raw versus SmackDown Tag Team Elimination match.
We had the Miz match. Then it was the Miz match.
Okay.
Sorry, hate to correct you.
No, it's okay. Okay, we had Miz versus Zayn. Good match. It was a wacky ending.
Horrible ending.
Where Sammy, I guess, was it? He had the figure 4 on, right? Was that it?
Yeah. Miz was working on the leg, and then Sammy ended up putting the figure 4 on the Miz. Miz was in the middle of the ring. Looked like he might have been getting ready to tap out, possibly. But either way, go ahead, Fred.
Mm-hmm. So, Miz. Okay, hang on. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I got.
Want me to do this for
somebody
you?
sent me another Joe Biden Obama meme, and it made me laugh, and I kind of got distracted.
Well, Fred gets his composure back, and he's going to tell me the meme, and then I'm going to laugh.
All right.
So anyway, as Sami Zayn has the Miz in the figure 4, the bell rings. The bell rings, and the camera quickly shoots over to the bell, and it's Maurice ringing the bell drops it, acts like she's not doing it. The referee sees it. No DQ, no nothing. Sami Zayn starts to celebrate. Referee says, no, I didn't call for the bell. Nobody tapped out. The Miz just rolled him up and pinned him. And that was it. The same thing we've seen the Miz do with Ziggler time and time again.
I didn't mind it that much. I mean, I hate the
title stays on SmackDown. It just kind of didn't make a lot of sense, to be honest with you.
I wasn't the biggest fan, but you know what, though? The fact that Miz is like the only real old school heel on the roster right now, it's pretty cool. I like it.
It was, but I think they could have done this with Dolph Ziggler, and it would have worked out just the same.
I
where
agree.
Dolph is in the figure 4 or whatever, and the Miz comes out and rings the bell. Because let's be honest, everybody kind of knows they're best friends. I mean, all you got to do is watch Ride Along, and they could have just kind of teased. I mean, right? So you could have teased it a little bit, like a Ziggler kind of sort of heel turn, maybe something like that,
Yeah.
And then he could have rolled up Zayn because, hey, I'm going for the win. It would have made more sense to do that, I think, than not have Ziggler on the show at all. So,
Jeremy Bowers is asking, could we see maybe a similar duo to Maurice and Miz? Maria and Mike Bennett in NXT soon, since they're kind of at odds with TNA.
Well, there's more to it than that as well. I don't know if you saw the tweet from Jeremy, but apparently
Maria Kanellis got accepted to complete her master's at Full Sail University, where NXT is taped.
Yeah, that would be good to see, but
she's a great act. God bless Mike Bennett. He seems like a really nice guy, and he works very hard, but to me, he's not. It's weird. I feel like he'd fit in more with like 2010 WWE. Than 2016 WWE or 2017
Is her beef
WWE.
with the Bellas even over with? Because they have some heat on each other.
You know what? You know what, though? They had beef with Maurice, and Maurice is on Total Divas. I don't know if anybody watched the first episode of Total Divas. That thing was lit. It was awesome. They went straight out of the gate with the tea, with the shade. It was great. Watch Total Divas. It was great. Maurice is a great character.
Problem with WWE is Maria and Mike Bennett could end up on NXT for a year and a half, and by then, who knows where the Miz and Maurice will be.
Actually, yeah, that's true. But you know what? I mean, they're good. You know what, though? Mike Bennett and Maurice were a great act in New Japan. They were a great act in ROH. They're not really that great of an act in TNA. It's just kind of... Well, then again, what is a great act in TNA at this point, outside of Matt Hardy?
Yeah. I mean, the DD's... No, not even him at this point, because he has amnesia. So
he's still, but that's still a great act.
Yeah.
Matt Hardy with amnesia.
What is it? The DDC, the DBC, the BBC. The Bram and James Storm combination.
I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm
Bram, James Storm, and somebody else are now in a group, and they hate each other. Yeah, so
I don't know, and I'm sorry, but I do not care.
I mean, that's what I've heard. It's not like I watch them or anything.
All right, listen. If you want to watch anything non-WWE related that's TNA related, just watch Matt Hardy.
Once 205 Live starts, you have SmackDown, Raw, 205, 2 pay-per-views a week. I'm just going to call it a week at this point. You have Ring of Honor, you have Lucha Underground.
You have
There's
TNA.
not enough time to watch everything.
Yeah, and then if you're a UK indie fan, and the UK is popping right now, you got Progress, you got freaking Rev Pro.
You have New Japan.
You got ICW. I mean, you got a lot, which Finn Balor made an appearance there for as a favor. Yeah, so, all right. We had Brian Kendrick versus Kalisto for the Cruiserweight. Actually, no, I missed it.
We had the tag title.
Tag match. Whatever. Let's go to the freaking Cruiserweight title match. It was a good match. Brian Kendrick got the win via DQ when Baron Corbin interfered and then beat up Kalisto. So the Cruiserweights are staying on Raw. Daniel Bryan yelled at Corbin. Corbin doesn't care. Way to go, Baron Corbin. He
doesn't want little punks running around and got in Bryan's face. And real quick, going back to the Miz and Sami Zayn match, they continue to tease the Miz and Daniel Bryan. And I know you told me no, it's not going to happen, but
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I know, but I'm telling you,
it's not. But it's so stupid to have Miz keep doing all the moves.
It is because he's not very good at the moves.
I know, but it was still, And then and then you have the Cruiserweights still on Raw for the time being, which makes no sense. Although there was a great tweet that went out earlier too that said Vince McMahon's going to come out and just give SmackDown the Cruiserweights. So it doesn't make sense. So you're going to have these guys traveling from Orlando. Well, I know they don't always tape, but
they're all in the same vicinity anyway.
But still.
Yeah.
I mean,
Whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, whatever. Brian Kendrick retains in the most lame way possible. We had Roman Reigns. Oh wait, no, we had this freaking tag. I keep forgetting this stupid tag. You know what, Scott? You recap this tag match. I'll say this: it was a hell of a match, but there were too many damn people to keep up with. You go ahead, Scott.
I mean, here's the long and short of it. the Village People, a.k.a. Brazongo, come out. They get eliminated within 5 seconds. Next thing you know, you turn around. Kofi Kingston's getting super kicked by one of the Usos. The New Day is out within 90 seconds. So right then and there, everybody's like, what the heck is going on here?
That was okay. For people that want to bitch and complain about Goldberg, and to a lesser extent Brock Lesnar and their pushes, look at how they treated their champions tonight.
But I liked it because it was the element of surprise.
But seriously though, look at how they treated their champions.
However, on the good side of that, Big E didn't get to do his running dive. So
Rhino and Slater got eliminated, relatively soon after that. You had Brian Kendrick get his ass handed to him by Big Boring Corbin. Okay, and in the Raw versus SmackDown men's match, you had Kevin Owens get eliminated. Granted, it was by DQ, but still, he got thrown out like a geek, and his best friend and main ally got just eliminated due to an RKO, and he was trying to put together his list.
Yeah, Kevin Owens got eliminated by using the list.
And they wonder why these champions aren't over whatsoever. Outside of maybe AJ Styles.
Well, even Becky Lynch getting pinned by Bayley. I mean, granted, Bayley's a top star, but still.
Yeah.
I mean, same idea.
So, anyway, we have
not a whole lot happened in that match. I guess the biggest surprise would be that it came down to the Usos and
Sheamus and Cesaro.
Yeah, and Sheamus and Cesaro got the win.
True. Let's go through these eliminations real quick. With the New Day beat Fandango, we had one of the Usos hit Kingston and pin him, which was shocking. We had Gallows beat Ryder. We had Jason Jordan beat Primo, I think it was Primo. And then we had Jordan.
Oh, hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
Before American Alpha got eliminated, there was a great spot from Chad Gable where he hit the German. I forget what he did exactly. It was like the sunset flip into a German or something.
Right.
That was a phenomenal move. I just want to mention that.
It's funny. We talk about the doom. We talk about the doom and gloom of WWE and everything sometimes, just from a creative standpoint. But then you look at this match and you see Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. I forgot they were on the main roster.
So did everybody else.
These two guys, forget them as a tag team. I think as single stars, they'd be freaking phenomenal if you actually gave them a chance.
I think Chad Gable would get lost in the shuffle from being just a little bit too small.
But I'm saying, if all things were created equal, and you gave these guys the leeway, if these guys got the amount of TV time that James Ellsworth, for God's sakes, freaking gets, you don't think these dudes would get over?
Well, rumor is they are going to get the push now, so we'll see.
Yeah, just like they were supposed to get the push. Hang on. Just like they were supposed to get the push in September when the Usos took them out.
Well, September, November, it depends on the it's still the fall.
All right.
So, but like Jeremy Bauer said, with the revival, they need to be called up and win the tag titles immediately from somebody, which sounds good in theory, but it's the Page effect, because then what happens from there? You have no place to go but down. So you have these guys on the roster. They learn a little bit for whatever reason, not that they necessarily need to, and then you build them up. I think, they didn't kill them. They're not, they're not the vaudevillains who just couldn't get any credibility if they tried. So, they're around. They're still winning. They're not getting jobbed out, at least. It might work if they push them now at this point.
Yeah. So,
see?
So we had the Raw versus SmackDown men's match. This was really good, but it went on forever.
Official time is like 52 minutes and 55 seconds.
Wow.
It was ridiculous.
Now, I'll say that. For that length of time, give these men their props, okay? They brought it tonight. They knew they had a lot of time to fill. They knew they had to make up for a relatively short main event, and that's an understatement. And they did.
The bigger shocks in this match were the fact that Dean Ambrose got eliminated first by Braun Strowman due to the running power slam. Of course, him and AJ were going back and forth. And I'll spoil it right now. We had a Shield reunion as well.
We did. So. We had Dean Ambrose return late in the match, just completely snap, lose his mind, lunatic fringe style, beat up AJ. He got tackled by security. Rollins and Reigns beat up the security for Ambrose, and then they did the Shield triple power bomb on AJ, and then Rollins pinned AJ to eliminate him. That was great.
It was.
That was excellent. Excellent.
Yes.
Man.
Mick Foley's other great tweet of the night was the Raw MVP was either Dean Ambrose or Baron Corbin. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, for those watching live, feel free to click the like button. If you are new here, please feel free to subscribe because we have a lot of live shows plus in-depth interviews with a lot of your favorite stars, including some stars that you saw tonight on Survivor Series that you will see on Raw and on SmackDown, including AJ Styles, TJ Perkins, and many, many more. So, we had this match. It was really good. Just really, really long. We had Strowman pin Ambrose, as you said. We had Strowman get counted out after he was attacked outside, and then Shane McMahon hit the elbow drop off the top rope. I mean, Shane McMahon was tempting fate tonight, wasn't he? With all these spots.
He did a great job. He always does. You know what? Let's give Shane McMahon credit because he does bring it when he shows up.
He does, even if it's utterly ridiculous, but he does bring it.
He has nothing to prove. There was another great tweet from I tweet some of their stuff. WWE Creative Humor that said, "God, take Shane to the back, show him his bank account, tell him stop doing all this crazy stuff."
Exactly,
and it's true.
Yeah, seriously. So Braun Strowman got counted out. This was the best spot of the match.
Yeah.
Even though there's a part of me that would like to have seen him be the sole survivor, Braun Strowman's really grown on me lately. I guess I'm in a 1998 mood where I want to see big guys just squash people. But anyway.
he seems to be getting kind of better.
He's getting over, that's for sure. He's getting over. So Braun's about to get in the ring when somebody underneath the ring grabs his leg.
Which we didn't see at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it turned out to be James Ellsworth. What a great payoff that was.
James Ellsworth, a.k.a. Hornswoggle 2016.
What a great payoff this was.
It was great.
So then Braun slowly walks towards Ellsworth. You think this idiot's going to get away, but he is so unathletic that he trips over himself and cowers in fear at the entranceway.
But you know what's great about that?
Yeah.
Him tripping, if you go back and watch it, where he tripped, coincidental or not coincidental, the ramp was like elevated. Like it did look like there was like a bump there. If you go back and watch it, you can see it's like kind of raised up at that point. So it was very odd. Like it's almost like he wasn't supposed to fall right there, even though the spot happened, which was supposed to happen, I'm sure. Like this is very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh man. So
they need to find James Ellsworth some tights that fit him.
That's a whole subject. Yes. I mean, think about the kids, James. Just think about the kids. Yeah. So
anyway,
so Braun picks him up, beats him up a bit, throws him off the stage. Ellsworth crashes and burns through a table and a bunch of equipment. It was great. Yeah. This was like the best spot of 2016. It was awesome. Yeah. It was just.
And there was a spot before that, Fred, which you had texted me about, saying did AJ almost get hurt by Braun? I don't think so. Braun just tossed AJ over the top rope, and AJ being as light as he is compared to Braun being as big as he is, I think AJ made it look that much better. I don't think AJ got hurt.
The one
thing.
He
was okay.
That's the one thing. Braun's got to be careful. But you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, when you're dealing with somebody that big and that small, I mean, it's things can happen. So luckily,
Fred, I'll be right
AJ
back.
was okay. Okay. All right. Well, Scott's gonna be right back. I think he's going to get his unicorn horn and pet his dog. Actually, his dog may have taken a dump out of excitement, which has happened before on this show. So, hey, I have 2 cats. I understand. So anyway, let's get to the rest of the match. We had Strowman pin Ambrose at the beginning. We had Strowman get counted out. We had him take out Mr. James Ellsworth, who will probably be gone for a while, at least maybe until Royal Rumble. We had Kevin Owens get DQ'd for hitting AJ Styles with the list of Jericho. I mean, this is a badass list, and he just whacked him. Papers flying everywhere. Owens got DQ'd. Yes, he got DQ'd after attacking the WWE Champion. But seriously, for the Universal Champion, for the World Champion of Raw, to be eliminated that quickly? I wasn't feeling that. Granted, he eliminated himself, but still. And then his best friend, like a geek, gets distracted. A 6-time world champion, which to JBL's credit, he even said, "What's a 6-time world champion worrying about a list?" I was wondering the same thing. So he's like, "Oh no, the list. And by the way, I think Jericho got one of the biggest pops of the night. So he's picking up these pieces of the list, and then Orton just RKOs him for the pin. 1, 2, 3. You back, Scott?
I am back.
You all right there? I heard your dog took a little leak.
No. My daughter woke up, so I had to bring her downstairs, let her on the couch.
Super Scott, super dad.
Yeah,
I like
super
that.
dad. I don't know if you mentioned it because I hear you talking about the men's 5-on-5 match.
Yes.
Quick little side note, and again, I don't know if you mentioned it already. I'm sorry, but why in the hell did Team SmackDown have Ambrose come out last, not AJ Styles?
Actually, that's true. What the? Well, why did The Miz come out before Sami Zayn?
Yeah, but that's different because on the other side, though, Owens did come out last for his team.
Yeah.
Just and I understand the women's match not, but that wasn't team captain. And last time I checked, Ambrose wasn't supposed to be the captain. So
yeah, that was wacky. That was
kind
just
of weird.
That was wacky. So yeah. Oh, by the way,
I don't know if that was more wackier than Orton and Bray coming out and them standing alongside of Shane while everybody else came out.
What was or as wacky as Dean Ambrose hitting a tope? I've forgotten who, but it looked so ugly. I mean, it barely connected. Like, you know what? Here's some advice. Far be it from me to give wrestlers advice, but here's some advice that I've heard a lot of veteran wrestlers give to these current wrestlers. Stop doing dives.
Yes.
Okay? If you have a cruiserweight show, and the marketability of the cruiserweights is based on their high-flying moves with the Z, why is Luke Harper doing a dive? Why is Dean Ambrose doing a dive?
Thank God we didn't get to see Big E do one tonight.
Yeah. Now, Seth, I don't mind. Like, Seth is a really athletic guy, whatever. But it's like, these are like the heavyweight guys doing the dives that are supposed to be making the cruiserweights feel special, right?
Yep.
I mean, what's so special about TJ Perkins doing a moonsault if Seth Rollins can do one? Which kind of defeats the purpose of a cruiserweight division. It's just smaller guys doing the same moves.
And that's what it is right now. That's the sad part. When it's on Raw, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Except for when Kalisto hits the move he hit on Kendrick onto the outside, which was disgustingly sick to watch. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, why is the name...
Yeah.
I
can't...
Oh, wait, you hit the Sleet of the Soul.
No, it wasn't
not that.
The,
what am I saying?
Yeah, no.
I'm looking at my notes here. Oh, I didn't write it down. All right, well...
So I didn't... Yeah.
Whatever, it was a big spot, yeah.
Yes.
So, somebody will correct us. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, then we had Shane McMahon run wild, which was hilarious. That was just hilarious. And then he went for the coast-to-coast drop kick, a.k.a. the Van Terminator drop kick, ate a spear. He looked concussed, and he got carried out. Yeah, I don't know. I think for a guy that was kind of more or less knocked out, not all there, he probably should have been stretchered. But, I ain't a doctor. We had Luke Harper come out. He tried to distract Rollins. Rollins and Reigns took him out. And, yeah, so then we had Rollins go for a frog splash. He ate an RKO, which looked amazing. Amazing. Orton pinned him. It was Reigns versus Orton and Wyatt. Orton pushed Bray aside when Reigns was going to hit a spear. Reigns hit Orton, and then Wyatt hit the Sister Abigail. 1, 2, 3.
Nasty looking Sister Abigail.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this Orton Wyatt thing. It's too wacky and weird for me, especially because you have like Luke Harper, who's really ugly. You have Bray Wyatt, who's really ugly, and you have Randy Orton, this good-looking guy who's shredded in this Speedo. I mean, it just looks weird.
And the weird part is it's getting the Wyatts over his faces.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to, but it does, especially in this situation.
Right. But it was a hell of a match. I'll say that. It served its purpose. It was a hell of a match. I still would have liked to have seen a stipulation put together in this match, like if the winners get to be like a GM for a week on Raw or SmackDown, or each man gets a title shot.
They could have came out with the bragging rights trophy.
Oh God, yeah, that was brutal. That concept. But this was a pretty good match. I gotta say, it was pretty good. I would have liked to have seen Kevin Owens last longer. I didn't like the fact that the main focus was on Rollins and Reigns, and again, I think Kevin Owens, he's the champion. You know what I mean? I think he should be one of the main focuses. At least AJ Styles with Ambrose and everything, that made sense, right? Even though it made Ambrose look bad to freaking just get destroyed by Strowman. But at the end of the day, SmackDown got the win. I guess it's a moral victory for SmackDown. And yeah, I'd say it was a thumbs-up show. Not everybody's going to feel that way, but I think it was a thumbs-up show. What do you think, Scott?
A lot of people do not feel that way because of the main event. And I'm reading more comments off different links and pages that people, like, it's and I'm not going into politics, but it's almost like the election. Like you either liked it or you really didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it's just, yeah, I mean, basically everybody's saying Vince McMahon just trolled the hell out of everybody, and it's very weird. Like,
It is weird, but
I'm reading some of this stuff and I just don't get it. Like,
I guess you got to remember, man. Goldberg was a different generation. You know what I mean? Not everybody
Goldberg was
a fan
the original
of Goldberg.
Brock Lesnar, though. Like when you really want to go, if you really want to go there.
Yeah, I mean, he did a reverse. He played football and then went in. Yeah.
But it's funny though because they're making like, a 50-year-old guy, and yet you have Undertaker and Kane.
This 50-year-old guy is one of the main reasons WWE 2K17 is one of the top selling games in the world right now.
But like you look at all these guys on the active roster who are around his age, Chris Jericho, and granted they're still active, but it's very, it's almost like people don't like look at Goldberg as the WWE guy who beat The Rock and then kind of did nothing, and it's just so much more than that. And I don't know, maybe it's just me and you, Fred. I don't know.
I mean, we are a little older than some of our viewers, so maybe it's that. I don't know. I mean, I think it's one of those things. You either loved it or you hated it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you want to judge by the standards of, what fans of Goldberg who grew up watching Goldberg would want to see, whether it be in 2016, 1997, whatever, it would be an awesome Goldberg squash like we saw, right? I mean, it wouldn't be a long match. I mean, I don't think anybody ever expected like a long Goldberg match. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
well, like I said, what if at WrestleMania 31, Roman Reigns came out, Superman punch, spear, pinned on Brock Lesnar? Hey, this is a young, good-looking guy, the face of our company. Wow. Watching the Green Bay Packers game here and 2:25 to go, and Aaron Rodgers is out of the game.
Oh,
granted,
crap.
The Green Bay Packer defense is garbage, and they're losing 42-24, but still.
Holy crap. Oh, Aaron Rodgers got hurt?
No.
Oh,
he actually played a great game.
Okay.
The Green Bay defense, dude, me and you could run touchdowns on them. And I'm 37, 200 and a slim, trim, ripped, chiseled, and jacked 240 something, and it's pretty bad. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, and I'm a lean, mean fighting machine. Yeah, I'd be the speed back. You'd be the power back.
I'd score a touchdown with you on my shoulders. Let's put it that way.
All right, you'd be the power back. I'd be the speed back.
Sure, I'd be the power back. Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, hey, there you go. But anyway, what were we saying?
Goldberg.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know. It's polarizing. You know what? Enough of our debate. I said let's go to the fans. Let's see what they're saying, because there's a lot of feedback here. All right?
Just remember, the streak is back. Anyway, yes, let's go to the fans.
Yeah, Mr. Racer says Windows 7 F the world. Yeah, I think he may have heard my background noise with Windows, although I actually have Windows.
He also 10. Said Randy Orton saved Team SmackDown, which he did. So
he did. Okay, anonymous user says if you're upset with watch Goldberg's old matches, many are under 5 minutes. Exactly.
Just the fact that it was Brock Lesnar. Like I said, if he would have came out and what's funny though, right? If he would have came out and did that to Heath Slater, 3 years ago, because Heath Slater now he would have gotten booed. But if he would have did that to Fandango tonight, everybody would have loved it.
Yeah.
But he did it to Lesnar and everybody booed. It just makes it's like anything.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like anything else.
Yeah. Mr. Racer says Windows 10 sucks, bro. Well, listen, bro. Actually, that was my Adobe Creative Cloud saying that I should update my Adobe software. So I will update that after the show. And actually, my computer runs pretty damn well. But thank you very much. I appreciate that nice feedback. Anyway. Let's see. What do you think about Goldberg versus Chris Jericho playing up the real life beef? Well, they did that in 2003. They do not need to do that in 2016.
If anything, we're going to get Jericho and Undertaker because Jericho called Taker a stupid idiot.
Did he?
Yeah, on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He called him a stupid idiot. So if anything,
maybe we will. I don't know.
That wouldn't be that bad. I could live with that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We had John Goldman say Taker will win against AJ Styles. I could see that happening.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hold on. So according to let's talk about that for a second, because according to Undertaker logic, whoever ruined it for Team SmackDown is going to have to face the Undertaker's wrath. Mm-hmm. Well, AJ didn't ruin it for Team SmackDown. If anybody, it would have been Dean Ambrose.
True.
So, I mean, Team SmackDown did win. So do we get an Ambrose and Undertaker match? Because I'm not really digging that.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I don't know. Maybe like Ambrose of like 3 years ago when it was still like pretty hot. I don't know about now.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. Okay, let's see what else we have. Could you see Randy Orton versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania?
I've heard that that's a rumor, and I'm not digging it. I think Undertaker pretty much cemented himself for losing this WrestleMania coming up when he said WrestleMania does not define his legacy, and if he loses to Randy Orton, it does nothing for Randy Orton at this point in his career. So,
but he could also be Randy Orton, and it wouldn't hurt like a guy that's on the rise. You know what I mean? Although
Yeah,
I don't think an Undertaker, a loss to the Undertaker would hurt anybody at this point.
No, but why? Why Randy Orton? Like it wouldn't really do anything.
I think because Randy Orton's safe. You know what I mean? But why hang on? Why turn Randy Orton heel then? Why do all the freaky stuff if he's not going to wrestle the Undertaker?
Yeah, but again, do you really need to see the Wyatts and Undertaker?
No, I don't. I don't. But I'm just saying, like, who would Undertaker be more comfortable with? You know?
Oh, well, absolutely right. Wow, yeah. As far as comfort goes, sure. But
yeah. All right.
I don't know. I just won't be digging it.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a question from Roa Schmate. Who do you think eventually dethrones? This is another women's question. Who do you think eventually dethrones Charlotte, and who do you think eventually dethrones Asuka?
Bailey on
Raw
for Charlotte, yeah. And as far as Asuka goes, I mean, I've been hearing a lot of people say Ember Moon, and I don't really know much about her at this point to say that, but
she's really good.
Yeah, she is, and I don't really see anybody else doing it.
Yeah,
I mean, Asuka's going to have to go heel.
She practically is at this point. Mickie James went to shake her hand on Saturday night after she lost, and Asuka just raised the title over her shoulder.
Yeah, and people still cheered for her. So
yeah.
And Mickie James for 37, still, that fans chanting, "You still got it." I was kind of laughing at because it's not like she never left and came back.
Exactly.
If anything, they should have been chanting, "You still got it" at Goldberg then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, Mickie James looked great, especially for a woman that just recently had a baby. Man, she was pretty good in the ring too. So, props to Mickie James. Okay, Ashok Jain says that was insane. Shusant Pawar says Cena versus Lesnar better be next now. I don't want to see that. I mean, they did have a great match, but I don't want to see that again. Plus, Cena's on SmackDown. I don't know where
Lesnar goes from here, but yeah, I know.
Plus, Cena's on SmackDown. You got to remember that.
That's all right. They can figure that out.
Yeah. Fred, did you watch?
I'm not even sure if Cena's going to be back for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Well, we'll see because he's filming American Grit right now.
Yeah, because,
Yeah, Fred, did you watch Walking Dead or Westworld yet? I did not, but I'm going to catch that after this recap show and then get some sleep. Okay, Garab Gosh said Goldberg twerked his shoulder on Raw, so maybe that's why it was a short match. I think he meant to say tweaked, not twerked.
I hope so. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe Goldberg injured his shoulder twerking, but, Goldberg doesn't seem like a twerk kind of guy. So... Yeah, he did tweak his shoulder. Then maybe that's another reason why the match was short. But holy crap, it was still great.
Yeah,
it was still great. Okay, Anoop Thanks says part-timer, boring, dumb Lesnar lost. So I guess he's happy.
Yeah.
Basti Failed, our main man from Germany, said, love the ending of the Goldberg match. That's just classic Goldberg. Lesnar didn't see the first spear, and after that, Goldberg did do his classic impactful spear. Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it.
The ending?
Yeah.
What? Ending? Okay, sure.
Yeah,
the whole match was the ending.
Yeah. Abilash 619 says, Vince gave people the twist of the century. I don't know if it was the twist of the century, but it was definitely one of the craziest, unexpected finishes in WWE history. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, when's the most... Honestly, this might be the most surprising result since Brock Lesnar pinned The Undertaker.
And maybe that's the whole point.
To get that shock value again?
Maybe.
You know what? Everybody on Twitter's buzzing about it, so mission accomplished.
I mean, think about it. Lesnar's got to... I mean, you would assume he's got to do something tomorrow, and you got to assume Goldberg's going to do something tomorrow. You have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. We'll see. Steven Shaw says Kane versus Rhino to determine the mayor of SmackDown. That's right, because Rhino ran for office in Michigan.
Won.
No, he lost.
Oh, did he end up losing?
Yeah, I don't know how word got around that. But it was a fake story. He ended up confirming on Facebook and Twitter that he lost. Yeah.
Now my tweet about him shaving his beard for his constituents is pointless.
Yeah. Well, you might have to delete that tweet, my man.
I tweeted too many things. I'll just have to leave it.
Yeah.
Well, no, because he can still have constituents even though he lost.
I guess. Manpreet says that the Great Khali should come back and win the Universal title.
Manpreet should be banned now for saying that.
You know what? No, but you know what? They should have all the giants that are still living today that can still remotely wrestle face Braun
Great Khali's
Strowman
not one of them.
and have Braun Strowman just destroy all of them.
How's about? Oh God, I want to see Goldberg jackhammer Braun Strowman. I do.
I don't want to see his body break trying to do that. I want to see Braun Strowman. No, I want to see Braun Strowman jackhammer Goldberg.
Huh?
I want to see Braun Strowman jackhammer Goldberg.
I was gonna say, what if they have Strowman destroy Goldberg like that?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. Okay, Leo Mendez says that was a freaking dumb match. I guess he didn't like it.
It was dumb to the fact of like Lesnar destroying everybody and then just getting jobbed out like that. But it was great because it was Goldberg who did it. But yet it was dumb because it was Goldberg who did it. Like, there's a lot that goes under it. I liked it. I thought it was great. The shock value alone, I think, is great, and that's exactly what WWE needs at this point.
Yeah.
So when you think about it like this, their rating, in theory, their rating should be over 4 million tomorrow night. We know it's not going to get anywhere near that. We know that. Come on, we know. Although it is a crappy Monday night game, but
who's playing Monday?
It's Houston and Oakland, which are actually two decent teams, but it's a crappy game.
Well, crappy game in a sense that Brock Osweiler is a horrendous quarterback.
7-2 versus 6-3 in Mexico City, but
well, you got to remember something too, and this is the same thing that applies when the UFC went to Mexico City. It's high altitude.
Yeah.
Like really. Now, granted, Brock Osweiler did play high altitude in Denver when he was with the Broncos, but a lot of those guys haven't played high altitude, and it's just. It's kind of questionable too. Why wouldn't you have at least one of the teams that plays in high altitude, like Denver, go into a high altitude city? Kind of weird. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a sloppy game because of the altitude, and I think Brock Osweiler is gonna throw like 88 yards. If Brock Osweiler was a pro wrestler, who would you compare him to? WWE superstar.
Heath Slater.
No, Heath Slater's got better rhythm.
Think about it. Slater, he wins, but he doesn't do much, and
actually that's true because Brock Osweiler's Rhino is like the Texans' defense.
Yep.
And the Texans' defense just wins all the games for him. Whereas Brock Osweiler's like Heath Slater, he's winning, he has a good record, but he sucks. Although Heath Slater's better than Brock Osweiler.
Well, at least they're better than Ryan Fitzpatrick. So.
That's true, and I'm sure half the world's wondering who the hell these people are. Brock Osweiler is a horrific, overpaid American football quarterback for the Houston Texans who somehow has his team in a division lead, yet he's averaging, I think, like 99 yards passing per game. Which
out of 32 teams, he is 31st, I believe.
No, I think 32nd.
Are the Jets actually better than him? I'm not sure.
I think he's 32nd when it comes to rankings in quarterback. So he is literally worse than Heath Slater.
Hold on, let me switch subjects real quick because I see JJJ MVP asked if the CM Punk rumors are true, and Zippa says he's supposed to be at WrestleMania 33.
Come on.
No, that is not true at all. He debunked that on Twitter, which of course doesn't mean anything. CM Punk is not coming back to WWE. You have a better chance of seeing Goldberg beat up Lesnar. Oh, well. Anyway, he's not coming back. That is my. What does Booker T call it? The sucky ducky boom boom pow.
Shucky ducky quack quack.
I'm not that cool, even though he's older than me. Yeah, that is the guaranteed lock. I don't think you will ever see CM Punk back in WWE. How about that?
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't want to see him back in WWE. That's just me. I don't.
Wow. Yeah. I'm trying to look for that CM Punk tweet. I can't find it, but either way, it doesn't really matter. He's not coming back.
No.
Not yet. I mean, look, maybe
in 20 years from now, yeah, when he goes
I don't know, 20 years from now, but the wounds are still fresh. They're in legality.
He's not. It's not happening.
Okay.
I know if Goldberg can come back, anything can happen. But no.
Yeah, but it also took Goldberg 12 years to come back. You got to remember that.
Exactly.
So okay.
Yeah, I don't see it.
We'll take a few more questions before we head on out. Who do you see beating AJ Styles for the title? I see The Undertaker, and I see The Undertaker dropping it to Royal Rumble winner Cena. I could be wrong, but that's how I see it. Who do you see Kevin Owens losing to? You know, if they didn't make Jericho look like such a biatch every now and then, I would actually like to see Jericho pin Owens, quote unquote, accidentally in like a triple threat.
Well, they're definitely setting that up because when Owens got disqualified, Jericho was picking up the pages of the list and he was giving Owens some looks like, "What the hell did you just do?"
I feel like even though Jericho's over, I feel like they're making him too much of a comedy character. Like I really think like it would be better if they kind of gave him like some sort of mean streak. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
well, you know, when some notebook paper and a $8 clipboard are the best things on your 3-hour program, I mean,
it's impressive and it's sad at the same time.
It really is.
Okay, Mr. Racer says, does Randy Orton currently hold the record for surviving the most Survivor Series matches? That's a really good question. I think so because he won. He survived 2003, 2004, 2005. This one.
That was by himself, though. I think he holds the most sole survivor.
Okay.
At 4, and he's second as far as matches behind. They said it. Shawn Michaels. He has 9 Survivor Series traditional matches. I think it was. Shawn had 11.
Okay.
I want to say it was that.
Well, and also too, you guys should go out of your way to see the Survivor Series 2003 match. It was like Steve Austin versus Team Eric Bischoff. Granted, the stipulation wasn't much because if Austin's team lost, he'd have to retire, and he came back like 2 weeks later, so it totally killed the stipulation. But just watch that performance, the performances of Shawn Michaels in the match and Randy Orton.
Yep.
It was like the perfect way to build up an up-and-coming heel into a top guy, and it was the perfect babyface in peril played by Shawn Michaels. The psychology of the match at the end was excellent. Excellent.
No, it's a great ending too.
Yeah, it was excellent. So go out of your way. Survivor Series 2003 was not very good. Ironically enough, it was headlined by Goldberg and Triple H. They also had an ambulance match with Shane McMahon and Kane, which was also built up by Kane electrocuting Shane McMahon's testicles.
Well, that all started when Kane tombstoned Linda McMahon on the ramp.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yes.
And set JR on fire and did all this. Yeah.
Let's not go that far, but
okay.
Yeah, that's what he did.
Yeah, but if there's anything you should go out of your way to see it from Survivor Series 2003 back in the day, that Survivor Series match was just excellent. Excellent as far as building up a young guy and just putting over a great babyface in peril. That was psychology. It was great. So if you want something Survivor Series related, actually somebody real quick is asking our Survivor Series predictions before we head out. Or not predictions, I'm sorry, recommendations on the network.
I'm going to keep quiet about this one, Fred, and you know why.
Because you took the time to watch every Survivor Series, and unfortunately...
No, I didn't watch. I took notes.
You took notes, and you went through a lot of them. And unfortunately, you and I were never able to secure a date to go and review the greatest Survivor Series moments of all time, and I feel bad about that, Scott. But guess what? At least you now know more useless wrestling knowledge.
Yeah, I do. I would say...
Give like 5. Let's not go forever.
Well, I don't have my notes on me. Obviously, the end of 2014 when Sting debuted was just a great moment.
But I'm saying great match. Hey, come on, let's go back further for some of the young, for some of the kids, for some of the children. Scott, we're about the children.
Honestly, the first couple were pretty good, just because it was different at the time.
Listen. I'll give you some real recommendations.
Diesel Bret Hart '95 when Diesel basically went heel, which led him to go into WrestleMania 12 to lose to Undertaker, which led him to go to WCW, which created the NWO. So that was a pretty decent match. Diesel.
Listen, Diesel versus Bret Hart. Okay, was really good. One of Kevin Nash's best matches ever.
Of course, Survivor Series '97.
Yeah, with a screw job. Well, that was just it wasn't great.
That's still a match you want to see. And to be honest, you go back to 1993, I believe it was, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels as well for the WWF title.
Yes, but the '97 you don't need to see. If you've seen clips of it, it wasn't a good match. It was okay. Okay, now Survivor Series '96 is what you want to go and see because that was The Rock's debut.
Yeah, but
that was Steve Austin wrestling Bret Hart and a precursor to the classic WrestleMania match, which was excellent. Psycho Sid wrestled one of his best matches ever against Shawn Michaels, which is not saying much, but still, it was pretty good. It was really interesting, and it was a big match for Psycho Sid. By far the biggest match of his career. Survivor Series 98.
I would like to say, though, in 96, that was like the fake Diesel, fake Razor Ramon. The pre-show match had eliminations where guys were just taking an elbow drop, getting pinned. So
wow.
And mind, yeah.
Survivor Series 98 was not great, but it did feature the crowning of The Rock as the world champion. Trying to think. Survivor Series 99 featured the debut of Kurt Angle, so maybe you want to watch that. It was like a quick squash against Sean Stasiak.
Yeah, it wasn't a great match, but it did what it had to do for him.
Right. Survivor Series 2001 had a really good 5 versus 5 match, WCW versus WWE, even though the whole storyline was convoluted. There was also Survivor Series 2002 is probably my favorite Survivor Series. That was one of the best ones. It had the first ever Elimination Chamber, which was great. That was great, and it's even greater when you realize that there's a point in the match where Rob Van Dam went for a frog splash on Triple H off the pod. His knee crashed onto Triple H's throat. He broke Triple H's trachea. Triple H could have probably died in the ring.
And he went for another, 20 minutes probably? Yeah.
It's crazy to think that Triple H finished that match. I mean, this would never happen in 2016. Never. They would have called a finish on the spot. They would have, brought out the stretcher, opened the chamber, and they would have whispered, hey, you know what, Rob, you're putting over Shawn or something, because that was unbelievable. I mean, it was such a bad injury that Triple H woke up in the hospital the next day with his gear still on and the confetti still on his body. It was ridiculous.
That's right. Yes.
So
I found the tweet from CM Punk, by the way.
Oh, you did? What did he say?
Yeah. Let me get back to it. It's somebody asked him. My computer's starting to run slow. If the rumors are true about him returning, he said yes. He also prevented a Ford plant from being moved to Mexico. It's true. Going to be big. So big. Bigly.
Bigly.
Tremendously bigly.
Yeah.
So he will be there. So there you have it.
Yeah. So, but that was a great match. The three-way tag match for the SmackDown tag titles was great. And I find it really hard to go back and watch Chris Benoit matches. I don't go out of my way to see it, but he wasn't totally featured in this match. It was Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit versus Eddie and Chavo Guerrero versus Edge and Rey Mysterio. If you could get over Chris Benoit being in the match a little bit, this was an excellent match. We also had Brock Lesnar versus Big Show. Not a great match, but a very surprising ending. If you want a shock ending and you're not familiar with the history of that whole feud and everything. And I forgot, they had another really good match. Oh, they had a couple good matches. They had Victoria versus Trish Stratus in a street fight. And they had Jamie Noble versus Billy Kidman, which was really good for the Cruiserweight title. So that was and you had Scott Steiner's debut.
That's right.
Or I guess return.
Nowinski and Matt Hardy, yes.
Yeah, no, it was that whole Survivor Series from top to bottom was really strong. I like that one. 2003 with the 5-on-5, like I told you guys, with Team Austin, Team Bischoff, great psychology with Orton and HBK. 2004, I thought the Survivor Series 5-on-5 was really good because of the fact that you were able to get a stipulation out of it and really interesting storylines out of it, because the winning team of Team Triple H versus Team Orton got to be GM. Each member got to be a GM of Raw for at least 1 week on Raw.
Maven was on it. Yes.
Yeah, it was really good. And now that they uploaded those classic Raws from 2004. You should probably watch it. It was a really cool time in WWE.
Yeah, that led to Maven versus Triple H, which actually was a really decent match.
Yeah, I'll say that. Triple H gets a lot of flack, and I know in the early 2000s he wasn't really on his game after the quad injury. But I'll tell you, that whole Evolution deal, man, and with Batista and everything else, really kind of that's probably the most underrated work of his career. I think it was really good.
Please do not go out of your way though to see Randy Orton Big Show from a couple years ago.
Oh God, no, that was horrible. 2006, it wasn't really much. I didn't care for 2006. 2007, I can't even remember 2007 Survivor Series, so that tells you something.
Give me a second, I can get my notes, but I have to get up for a second.
I can't remember it. It's irrelevant. 2008, I can't really remember it.
Let me go grab it.
You know what? 2009 is probably the most underrated Survivor Series ever because it had a triple threat match with Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and John Cena, all three babyfaces. HBK and Triple H were a team as DX. And this whole match was built on comedy. And had they actually built it up as a serious match, I actually think it would have been considered a classic. But instead, it's one of those matches featuring three legends of this business that's pretty damn underrated, I think. But you should go out of your way to see that match. I'm talking about Survivor Series 2009 and how underrated that DX and Cena match was for the title.
Yes.
As well as Big Show and Jericho, who were a tag team at the time, wrestling The Undertaker in a triple threat match for the SmackDown title.
Did we talk about Survivor Series 2003 when Vince McMahon defeated The Undertaker in a Buried Alive match?
Yes, but no, we didn't. But that was not a match I'd tell them to go out of their way to see. I'm trying to make good recommendations.
I would, for the fact that Vince McMahon beat The Undertaker in a Buried Alive match.
And then I'd say 2012, if you want to watch the match where The Shield made its debut. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else in recent years.
Well,
I'd say that's about it. So overall, those are my Survivor Series recommendations. I'd say actually, you know what? Did Bob Backlund versus Bret Hart take place in Survivor Series '94?
Ooh.
I think it did. Yes.
Let me bring up me notes.
Yeah,
Yes, because Owen Hart had.
Don't spoil it for people that didn't watch it.
Owen Hart was involved.
Okay.
If you haven't watched it by now, and it's been 22 years.
Okay, it was Survivor Series 93. My bad. Was it 93?
I'm getting there. Yeah.
I don't remember. Whatever.
I'm trying not to make too much noise going through my notes, so I apologize.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Actually, okay, it was back in the day.
It was Survivor Series. Yeah, it was 94. Main event was Undertaker Yokozuna as well, which was a casket match, which the great Chuck Norris was involved in. So keep that in mind there.
All right. So overall, those are our favorite Survivor Series moments, some ones that you should go out of your way to see. So we're going to get on out of here, folks. Let me answer one more quick question from October's very own, who's not Drake. What do you guys think about the tag match at WrestleMania between Goldberg and Sting and Cena and Taker? That's not happening.
Interesting, but no.
No, that's not happening. And yeah, so overall, a good Survivor Series. I enjoyed the main event. I know it's very polarizing, but I want to hear from you. What do you think about Survivor Series? What do you think about the direction of WWE? Let me know. Leave a comment below. Tweet us. Facebook us. Do what you got to do. If you're a fan of WWE 2K17, which is what this pay-per-view is based around, the fantasy warfare becoming real between Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, please subscribe to my gaming channel, youtube.com/TSC Gaming. We're going to have plenty more WWE 2K17 content. Of course, we have WWE 2K17 match predictions on this channel as well, but if you love video games, especially WWE 2K, you are at the right place with TSC Gaming and, of course, TSC News. If you enjoyed this podcast, please click the like button. Please share this with all your friends. Please don't forget to subscribe for more updates and exclusive interviews right here on YouTube. You can also subscribe to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, you name it, we got it. Until next time, everybody, woo! As always, enjoy the matches.